And Aaliyah's gonna get us started.
That's not my breathing, is it?
No.
All right. All right, I'm going to call this meeting to order at 7:05 p.m., July 17th.
Recording in progress.
All right, welcome everybody to the July 17th UMA Board of Directors meeting. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7:05. Clerk will call the roll.
Katie?
Present.
John?
Here.
Adam?
Here.
Eden?
Here.
Brian?
Here.
Lizette? Emmanuel? Emmanuel,
And
you
if
here?
you're looking for me, I'm here as well too. Sorry,
Okay.
I'll have to turn up the audio on my computer in due time. So, all right, after the call to order, we are now going to the public comment. So this is the portion of our meeting that any members of the general public, if they wish to speak or chime in, may do so at this particular moment. So I'll hold public comment open for a few moments to see if anybody from the general public signs in. Except for this little person from the general public wants to talk. She's just learning how to speak, right? All right, seeing that there are no members of the general public that are here, I'm gonna close that portion of our agenda. We're gonna move on to the approval of the minutes. I will entertain any motions at this current time right now.
Motion to approve June minutes?
So motioned.
We have a second?
Is there a second?
I thought Katie was the first one to go and then,
Yeah, we need a second.
but I thought Brian said second. It was Brian's voice who seconded.
All right, if there be any further discussion, we'll do so at this time right now. If not, all I just need is a voice vote to approve the June meeting minutes.
Did he not?
So
Um,
we have a motion on
All
the
right, all
floor.
those
We
in
have
favor
a
say aye.
second. Yeah.
Right,
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, there being no abstentions, we will move on to the next agenda item.
So can I?
the
I think
EE
I need to
report.
abstain because I wasn't here, right?
Yes.
So I should abstain. Adam abstains.
All right. If there be nothing, sorry, I'm having a meltdown right next door to me, so I will move on to the next agenda item. I will be right back.
The next agenda item is the ED report. I sent out the board a detailed report in various areas and pulled out a few items on tonight's agenda to answer additional questions if need be. Starting off with our transition with the reduction in force that we've implemented in staffing. So things are going as well as can be expected with, the reduced staffing. The UMA team has really pulled together as a team to support each other, to make sure that our doors are still staying open at our regular hours, and to ensure that we're giving the best customer service we can to our members in our community. So we've been able to still be out at a number of community events, help out our members. We had our youth workshops this last week. So for right now, things are going fairly well with the transition. And then I did send the board a summary of the exit interviews and got some really good feedback during those interviews. That I think, moving forward, we'll want to implement into the way that we operate to ensure that we have, the brightest future possible with staffing. So, any questions in regards to the transition at this time?
I have a question.
Yes.
Do we feel like things are going well because of the time of the year, and maybe it's the summer and it's a little bit quieter? Do we feel like the seasonality might be having an impact, or is that negligible because we're also doing the youth
I
stuff,
think,
which we would
I
be
think we're
doing.
busier than we have
Okay,
been,
all right.
honestly, with
That's
the
good.
youth workshops.
Yep.
And we have members coming in and out the doors at, for the whole time that we're open. We have the
Yep.
art gallery going on, so we have people from the public coming in to look at the art gallery.
Mhm.
So I think we're just as busy as we were before. But yeah, like I said, we've been working together. There's a few nights where we've had to close a little early because people had to be somewhere.
Yep.
But for the most part, we've been pretty steady.
Mhm.
Now, with that said, we did have three interns join us as well, so that's really helped us out a lot. Having somebody at the front desk to greet people, answer the phones, that kind of thing, so. Yeah, but
So
come the
busy-
fall,
Busy but able to handle it
Yeah.
with the staff that
yes,
have
right
them.
now, yes.
How did you end up getting the interns? I know there was an issue, but if you're able to get 3, that's great.
Yeah, so it's kind of, they all kind of happened randomly, which
Yeah.
was fantastic. We have a recent BU graduate who is looking for volunteer hours. And then we have a MISEP student. We knew we wanted to take at least one, but had been concerned about bandwidth and training. But she's just slid right into it. And then our front desk intern was actually approached me about it. So she's
Oh,
a
great.
recent high school graduate as well. So,
Cool.
yeah.
So I think the third one's pretty self-explanatory, but the first 2 interns, how did they hear about UMA?
Well, MISEP is the one, so the
Okay.
Mayor's Youth
Yep.
Employment Program. And then the BU students, like May Hung from the CCC is one of her teachers, and then
Okay.
Lily from the Malden Community Coalition.
Yep.
She was actually a teacher of Xiaoya's, the
Okay.
BU student.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that that's how she heard of us.
Okay.
I don't know if you're gonna go into the youth workshops?
Yes, that's
Okay.
next on my agenda
Okay.
item. But, so I did want to note that, we're still in a fairly precarious financial situation. We're fine, but we're not going to be bringing any staff on anytime soon, even in a part-time on-call manner, at minimum until November at the earliest, right? Because we are paying out severance packages and want to ensure that we're taking care of our outgoing staff. So if you feel like coming to hang out at the front desk at any point, or want to teach a class or anything like that, we could really use your help. So it's sort of up to you. We're right now Monday through Thursday, noon to 7. We're open. We do have the art gallery next week. I'm hoping that, or the art salon next week. I'm hoping board members can attend that and have a presence there. That kind of thing. It makes a difference, so.
So are the interns, maybe I should know this, are they just through the summer, or do you see some of them extending, or?
The BU student, Xiaoya,
Right.
she potentially could be with us until May.
Okay,
The front desk, Emily, is ongoing,
Right.
but does start school in the fall.
and the Mayor's Youth Program. And
Yeah, that's only until
Yeah.
mid-August,
I
so.
just was glad to hear that, because to have 3 and then to go to 0 is a lot, but at
Yeah.
least maybe there's
Yeah.
a possibility.
And we're gonna try to look at posting, we could talk about this in the financials, but we did get $10,000 in operating funds from Malden Industrial Aid, and that is to help pay interns to do youth programming. So we might be able to look at doing like a paid internship program here starting in the fall, but I want to focus on a student that's interested in early childhood development, educational with a media context to it. So we still have to draft that job description. So
So that $10,000 is earmarked only for paying interns?
technically, it is operating funds, so we can utilize it, but it is to support more youth programming. So, especially in underserved areas. So, yes. Any other questions on the transition? Okay. If not, we'll move on to the youth workshops. We finished our first week this morning. I got to see both of the videos. They had 2 groups work on 2 different videos. I think they're a lot of fun. We will be sharing them as a whole. When everything is done, we might do a special screening with their parents and stuff like that. We did have the children fill out a survey when they finished today. They all had really positive feedback, thought the flow of the week went really well. Their only feedback was they want more podcasting. So they really enjoyed the podcasting.
Huh.
So this week they had the opportunity. They started out with script writing and storyboarding. And then the next day they went out and shot B-roll footage because they recorded their animation on a green screen. So they had to include that B-roll footage in their end product. And then they did animation on Wednesday, and today they edited, and they finished their project this afternoon. So, yeah, we had 6 signups, which I thought was a healthy group. Aaliyah and James co-taught all week long. I think they did a really great job working with the kids. We did get one of them to sign up as a youth member, so very excited. And then, yeah, so Aaliyah and James and I will meet tomorrow to discuss what worked, what didn't, and talk about next week's class workshops, because that's the 14 to 17-year-olds. So
And how
Yeah.
many do we have for that?
currently we only have 5 signups. I would have really liked to have 6. Tonight is the last night they can sign up for that workshop series at midnight, so we've been pushing that a little bit. And then the following week, currently we only have 3 signups, so I really want to push that a little bit more. That's the the second 10 to 13-year-olds, but I know that we're getting closer to school starting, so who knows if we can get students in or not, children in. So
I should know this, but how much is the youth membership? Is it 10 or 20 or is it?
youth membership is $30 annually.
Okay.
And then we do have family memberships. You can have up to 4 family members for $150 for the year. So, yeah. And we don't define who your family is. You pick your family, so,
Okay.
right?
So the surveys talked about they wanted more podcasting. So what was, you didn't mention podcasting in that, so
So, day 3, before they did their animation, they did audio recordings. So they
voiceover stuff?
did voiceover stuff. They did sound effects. They created their own sound effects here in the studio. They did voiceover work in the podcast bay. And then they also created their own music on GarageBand in the edit bay. So we had 3 different stations that they rotated out. So,
That sounds awesome.
Yeah,
yeah.
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 But they want podcasting.
They want podcasting.
Hmm.
So
Sign of the
James and
times.
Aaliyah and I will
Yeah.
talk. And I think that, yeah, we're going to follow where the interest is, right?
Yeah.
So we'll look at trying to do maybe a youth podcasting training session, you know?
That's awesome.
Definitely.
Great.
That's really
That's
great.
fantastic.
Feedback,
Yes.
yeah, it's cool.
And well, it's beneficial too is that we have, if they don't want to come here to do it, which they're welcome to do, we have podcast mics that they can check out and do at home if they want to do them. So, and they just have to be members. So, yeah.
That's cool.
Can I ask a clarification question? I should
Yeah.
probably, is the plan to do this every year?
This is a beta test.
Okay, beta test.
Beta testing it
Okay.
out, understanding what our bandwidth is, how successful it is, how engaging it is, you know. So we're going to tweak this a little bit. Our intention is for sure to try to do something in February during winter break.
Yep.
Something very similar.
Yep.
And yeah, if we you know find this successful, we'll try to do it again every year in the
Yeah.
summer. We might try to start it a little earlier to accommodate for school.
Yeah.
And definitely start marketing a lot sooner, right? So,
And speaking of marketing, like I asked because I think it's just like really important to figure out how did these kids find out about this, and
Mhm.
let's try to market to those groups. If we're already successful there, maybe they have a friend or a family member,
Right.
so that we can fill up the 3rd session next month.
yes. I think a lot of it was us out in the community talking to parents and having the brochures to hand them.
Mm-hmm.
We got a couple last minute signups on Thursday last week to fill out this class this week. I think reminding people, I think the poster really helps, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just kind of, and again, if we start promoting earlier, maybe it'll be a little better.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not disappointed in the, you know, ROI. As I said in my report, I'd prefer for it to be a really good ROI. It should have been 8 kids per workshop. So, but we'll move forward. And this is also a training opportunity for future team members, right? So we can train them how to do these classes, and maybe we won't be spending so much money on staff, so the ROI would be better.
Baby steps.
Baby steps, right? Again, we were just trying it out. This is the first time we've ever done this. James had never really created a curriculum before, and
I was gonna say, it's probably
worked-
really good for James and Aaliyah too.
Yeah, I think
You
so.
know?
No, what about something in the fall, like if it was just like once a week for 8 weeks or a
I was
6
gonna
week
ask
session?
you guys about that.
to try to
with
do-
kids, like, is
To
that
not
possible?
overwhelm the staff with, okay, we
Sure.
have to be here every day.
They used to have a program called something like salsa, which wasn't salsa dancing, so I don't know what it was. But it was like once a week, maybe like 3 to 5 once a week.
Yeah, so we definitely want to look at trying to implement an after-school program of some sort. Right now, we're just trying to get through the weeks and figure out what we can do
Right.
and what's coming in the fall and stuff. I definitely want to keep the momentum going. I just don't know what that looks like just yet. So
Yeah, I mean, even a full week, just once a week so that it's not
yes,
overwhelming for
yes.
for
Right.
staff.
Well, and
it's
and as I
just-
mentioned in my board report, my intention is to reach out to the high school media teacher this month yet, even though it's getting very close to the end, if not early August, and see if there's some partnerships there that we could do. Maybe having the students come and teach the younger kids some
Yeah.
skills and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But I haven't done that as of yet, so.
Yeah, the poster on the window looks great.
Thank you. Any questions from anyone on Zoom about the workshops or transitions?
I do, though. I don't know if I'm going to make it to the end of this meeting, just so everybody knows. 2 questions are on the youth programming. One, congratulations. I think it's awesome. I'm really excited that this has gotten off the ground. I know we've been talking about it for years. And just congratulations to you, and just want to acknowledge all the hard work you've put into it. Right now, among the strategic plan update that was part of the ED report, the only revenue generating activity I see in there right now is the student workshops. Is that correct? I know there had been the goal of doing some training programs as well, but I didn't see that mentioned.
I'm sorry, where was that? During the strategic planning process?
Yeah, so when I look at what's coming up in the year ahead after the reduction, when I'm looking overall at the report, the reduction in force is up front, and I think that the outcomes were as good as you could possibly expect them to be, and the feedback was constructive, which was nice to see. Then we look at the youth engagement programs and some of the other comments, and sorry, I'm having a hard time tonight. When I look at what's generating revenue for UMA in order to, let's start moving back to a growth cycle. The workshops are really the only revenue generating activity I saw outside of grant writing and the legislation is kind of a let's hope this happens, but of the things we can directly control, the workshops are the one thing I see us doing that is actually bringing people in that they're paying us for services for, unless I'm missing something. Is that correct?
Well, we do have our paid production services that has been very successful, and we're getting more and more interest in that. So we did up that line item in the budget this year. Our goal last year was $6,000, and we were just a couple bucks short of that. So from not bringing any income in at all in 2 years ago to hitting the $6,000 mark, I'm pretty happy with. And this year, I think I bumped it to 7,000 or 8,000. Right. So we'll continue to build on that. That's one way we're doing revenue generation. The other is working on this year. We're going to be working on underwriting and sponsorships of the Malden events website. If and when we can get Neighborhood View back up and running, we would hope to do some underwriting on that website as well. So we're trying things and hoping that they work. Brian, I actually sent you an email this last week about a high yield savings account. I wanted your opinion on that. So because for the first time in I don't know ever, we're going to start building a contingency fund, right? So what's the best use of those funds? So.
Love that. So when you say underwriting of neighborhood view website and the other website, those aren't driving revenues though, right?
Yes.
That's community engagement, isn't it?
No, these would be underwriting, so, let's say the CCC wants to promote their annual gala, they would pay us to have not an ad,
A banner.
Right.
a banner on
Banner.
those websites, right? So, that's what I mean by
Sponsorship,
underwriting.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
if somebody has an event they wanna promote, or they wanna promote their, like the chamber wants to promote on our websites, they could do that through underwriting.
Okay. And what happened with the certification initiative for job training?
We're continuing to move forward on that. I actually, at the conference, met somebody that blew me out of the water. It's a young lady named Candace from Albuquerque, New Mexico, who has built out an entire intern, apprenticeship, and fellowship program. And her and I connected and chatted for hours about workforce development and how we can move forward with that. And so I'm currently in conversations with her to potentially contract for her services to help us outline everything with understanding of the state of Massachusetts requirements. So we're working the details out on that. And then just this last week, we had an administrator from Mass Hire pop in and wanted to talk about potentially collaborating on a workforce development program. But all of those, again, are going to take time, effort, research, that kind of thing.
Well,
And
I think
space.
all the initiatives are fantastic, and congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Last question on the ED report was, will we be able to use the output from the first week that the kids have, some of the stuff that the kids have done to promote future weeks? Like, look at what we've had people accomplish in the first week. Can we
Yes.
leverage any of that?
Yes, so we will be working on making social media posts. We'll take the feedback from their surveys and make little statements on social media to promote it that way, yes.
Okay, thank you.
The last thing I pulled out of my ED report was a legislative update. I did go to the State House, was it last week, the week before? July 10th. So,
Last week.
that was just last week.
Yeah.
Whew. I gotta share that it was an incredible moment to witness almost 2 hours of testimony from community media centers across the state showed up at the State House to talk about these bills. The hearing itself was 4 hours, so that tells you something, right? I did share the link to the full testimony. I shared and where mine was in that. Right now, my understanding is that the committee is hearing all testimony and making decisions and having conversations, and that Mass Access doesn't expect them to have an actual recommendation until September. So, but we do believe that we had a very positive impact on the hearing. So, next steps would be that probably would go to the House of Ways and Means and continue to move forward. I did let Senator Lewis know that we went and testified. He shared his appreciation for the support and will keep us in the loop as there's more things we could do. I ran into Mayor Christensen tonight before the board meeting. He asked how the city can help, and so I told him, hang on, we'll let you know. So we have a lot of support. So, and I thank you for anyone that wrote testimony to the committee. I think it was important. They received over 80 emails from.
That's what I was gonna ask. That's good.
Yes,
It's a good
yeah.
number.
Yes. So, yeah. So outside of that, anyone have any additional questions on my report on any area?
One last thing.
Yes.
I can't find it, so I can't reference it specifically, but I think we were wondering whether we wanted to invite the parents of the kids in for an event where we're sharing what they created.
We're trying to
I think that
figure
would
out.
be such a good idea.
I agree. Unfortunately, we just haven't planned ahead for this, so I'm looking at mid-August, trying to talk to the team and see what we can do. That's not going to be a huge strain on the bandwidth. We thought we could just do a screening here at UMA, but then we also thought it'd be kind of cool to do it at the teen center. So we're going to talk tomorrow about what that looks like to get the screening going. But we would love for the kids to bring their parents in and show them, like do a show and tell here so that they can see sort of what we're doing.
In the past, they had like a red carpet that the kids would come in on when they saw the screening. And just having that red carpet, the kids were so excited.
Yes, I want to get a purple carpet.
I prefer that too.
I want a purple carpet.
And like, not
so-
only is that cute, but then like we're talking about social media stuff that
Yeah.
we're gonna
Yes.
do, but then their
Right.
parents are going to take pictures
Yes.
of that and
Yes.
post it on their
And
own
that-
social
And maybe
media.
their friends,
I see my
And- right,
pictures
and then their friends will
every
wanna do it
year.
next year.
or if their friends come with them, they can
You
pick
get-
up
you get
to,
the UMA
each
backdrop,
kid can bring
you
like
know, the
2
whole deal.
friends as guests and.
Yeah.
I will make it a priority to figure out what we can do and get it done. I don't know exactly when school goes back in session.
August 20.
The Tuesday before Labor Day.
It's
Yeah.
usually right before
The-
Labor
yeah,
Day
the last week
weekend
in
is
August.
when they go back.
Okay.
It's usually about the last week in August, I believe.
Okay.
Linden the STEAM Academy goes back, I think, a little earlier.
No.
And then
No.
I think-
Doesn't exist
No.
anymore.
They all go
Oh,
back
it
at the same
doesn't?
time.
Oh, see,
No,
that's,
they're
listen, that's
not.
my time from the school committee. Oh, so I'm out of date on my
I
information.
mean,
Mystic Valley goes back earlier.
Yeah.
But I do know it's before Labor Day.
So again, we'll meet as a team tomorrow and talk about what bandwidth is. I would love to make it as a big premiere, but we'll see what we can do. Yeah.
Is it dumb to think that school is not an issue, that you could do it during school and the kids could come at night and then talk about it
Yeah.
at school?
I think it's
Maybe
better when
I-
the school's
schools in-
back.
me too.
because everyone's back.
And it
When-
gives
And
you a little more time to.
I'm willing to push
Right.
it out a little
Yeah.
bit, but how long
Right.
do we push it out? And then
September.
also, we have to remember, we have
Yeah,
our
September.
annual meeting on September 18th, which is a big event for us,
And
so.
I'd be fine if you wanted to combine those two as a parent, but that's up to you, and so.
We did think about that. Again, let me talk to the team
Okay.
tomorrow and see what their feedback is too.
That'd be kinda
Yeah,
cool.
and then just let us
Then
know what we need to do to-
could all participate in it and-
What we need to do to make it work. And
Yeah.
Okay,
Like maybe board members could volunteer.
listen,
Yeah,
I could try to use a
absolutely.
camera. I mean,
right?
Yeah.
Sure, well, okay, we'll talk tomorrow. And I'll get back to you.
Cool.
Anything else in my report? I just wanted to point out one thing in the financial section. So we did kind of an end of year note, and I don't know if Brian planned on talking about this in his update. But what I was excited about is we've already hit our donation limit because we got a $5,000 donation from the Asian Spectrum, who has dissolved their nonprofit and wanted their funds to come to UMass. So I thought that was fantastic.
Wow.
So we've already hit that, and then we did get the $10,000 from the Malden Industrial Aid Grant, which
Great.
historically is only given $1,500 to $2,500. So they recognize and see our need, and we appreciate their support so very much. So we're already at 17% in our goal for that. So
By donation limit, you just mean the expectation that you wanted.
The budget.
yeah,
Not
so
that you
I had
can't take any
budgeted
more
for
donations.
$2,000 in donations, but we've already received $5,000.
no, she's
Doesn't mean that
Done.
we can't.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that we can't get more, right?
Right, wanna get
Right?
sure, me too.
Yes.
So, and I noticed that we didn't get the Highland Street grant.
No.
Did you get feedback on why we might?
They
not
had
have-
an immense amount of submissions, and they did say that our submission was excellent, and it was a very difficult decision. So.
Is that an annual?
I believe it is. So we will continue, but we are going to need to have a conversation as a board. Now, the expectation is that we're starting the strategic planning process now. We should have been starting a couple months ago, honestly. But if we're going to have a consultant help us with this, we have to figure out the money. So it might be worth a conversation as a group, whether or not we just do another 1-year plan that I create, or I got to figure out the money to hire a consultant. Because if you want to do an extensive 3 to 5 year plan,
Yeah, what's that cost, roughly? I mean, are we talking 20 grand? or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So
So maybe at this point it's still baby steps trying to build. You
I
figure out
I
what
don't
you
mind
need,
baby
see what you
steps,
need.
so, yeah,
And go from there,
yeah.
as opposed to shelling out
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
money. I mean,
Yeah. What do you think, Brian?
I'm trying not to.
I just
Um,
want to bring it up.
I'm
If
sorry,
we
what's
want to
the-
think about
was this
it,
was this around the?
the
I was
strategic
thinking about
plan.
a different accounting issue. Tell me the question.
Well, so we did not receive the Highland Foundation grant for a consultant for strategic planning, long-term strategic planning. So we have to pivot and figure out where we're gonna pay for that consulting service. And so my question to the board, and we don't have to have an answer tonight, we can think about this and come back at the August meeting, is do you want me to do another 1-year strategic plan while we build out our funding? Or do you want me to focus on finding funding for the consultant to do a 3 to 5 year plan? And again, we don't have to make a decision tonight, I'm putting it out there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't see everybody now, so I don't know if you're looking at me or not.
We're all staring at you,
We're
Brian.
We're all staring
staring
at your lovely face.
Hold on, I gotta give you something to look at then.
There you go.
Yeah, nice.
If we, given the how rapidly UMA has changed over the past couple of years and how much I would expect us to have to pivot within the next 2, I think doing a year-to-year strategic plan makes sense with the goal of having a longer-term plan started sometime in the next couple of years. I don't think that's a bad idea. I love the one that we have now, and I think continuing that process forward makes sense.
I would agree, only because we've got things in place that feels like it's moving forward, and to shell out 20 grand or 25 on our own doesn't make a lot of sense to me until we get a grant, and then it makes sense.
Well, and I should also mention, I gotta double check where we are in the current franchise agreements. But we have to pay for a needs assessment and a strategic plan during that process. So it might be beneficial for us to wait until we get a little further down the road. And I 100% agree with what Brian's saying. You know, things are shifting so rapidly in our horizon that we do want to be able to pivot and not be locked into specific goal sets right now. So that's the good thing about a 1-year term. So.
yeah, I would agree wholeheartedly and point out that I don't think it would be the best look after just cutting the staff team in half to spend $20,000 on a consultant. That doesn't make
point.
sense. So.
Yeah.
I would agree, and also too, thinking about just doing a 1-year strategic plan. I mean, things are gonna look different next year, right? Like, in a good way, right? So I think that, or at least in my mind, in a good way, that things will look different. So, I think the year to year for right now, makes the most sense. And I also agree with the financial aspect as well. I mean, you know, 20 grand all up for, up front, just doesn't sit well at this time.
Okay, so what I could do is, if we're kind of in agreement, I don't think we need a vote on this, but if we're in agreement to that, then I could potentially present one at the annual meeting in September for approval, or we can wait, closer to the end of the year. It's sort of what your expectations are.
Is that
I
enough
actually
time
wouldn't
for
mind
you?
something at the end of.
Yeah, you're saying end of the year. I would say earlier. I'd say shoot early, and if go ahead.
I was gonna say, no, I was actually gonna say, I wouldn't mind something during the annual meeting itself, something to be presented at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
agree.
so far where we are, snapshot at that point in September, we'll have seen what is successful at this point, what has really worked, what has really taken off that we can expand upon, what could use a tune-up, and I think that it's just kind of a nice, because obviously once we get to the end of the year, it's gonna get kind of crazy, and then, you roll right into January before you know it, so I think that, I think a presentation in September of what is to be expected, and if we have to fine tune it within the next 4 months leading into the new year, I think that that's fine. But I do think that, I think just, I think rolling out another 1-year strategic plan at the annual meeting, would be good, and I think it would be good for the general public to hear too during that meeting as well.
Okay. I will have that available and ready for you for September 18th. Okay. So technically, we're still on the ED report. Any other questions on my report?
I had one more comment to make.
Yes.
You had put in there a note about not receiving last quarter's cable revenue,
Yes.
and that your assumption would be to recognize the revenue as it comes in, and I don't think that's going to be allowed as part of the audit process. Right now we use an accrual-based form of accounting, which means we need to recognize the revenue in the period in which it's earned, so that revenue, even though it's not being received until later, would still be recognized in the prior fiscal year, which means it'll take a little while before we can fully recognize last year's revenue. From an accounting standpoint, switching to a cash-based form of accounting would require changing everything to being recognized at the time of receipt. It would require a lot of accounting. You need a CPA to come in and really change the way that we do all of our books.
We actually switched that last year, last audit. We switched to cash.
We did switch to cash?
Yes.
All right, last I knew we were on accrual, so what do I know?
Well, hopefully a lot as our treasurer, but yeah, I believe I have been running all my reports on a cash basis. I have spoken to the auditor and I will clarify with him in August when he comes in that we just take it as it comes in. We do a couple invoices when we know, like, an example was Senator Lewis's earmark that we received last year. We did a $60,000 invoice, and then when we received that money, we paid that invoice, but we accredited all of our expenses for the remodel to that account so we could keep track of where we were with the funding. And then we do invoice for our paid production services. So those are the only accruals that we're accumulating right now. So everything else is on a cash basis because all of our operating funds from the city, we just get what we get when we get it, right? So, okay.
Yep.
All right.
The one other
Sure.
thing, that first paragraph of the control room and the studio the drop ceilings need to be replaced. I see that.
Mhm.
But what's going on with the grid and the lights? Just an inventory or just?
So some of our lights need to be fixed. They're over 10 years old, so we need to have them fixed. And we also want to rehang some of the grid system to get these floor lights off the ground
Mhm.
and hung. So I'm going to be meeting with a lighting contractor. I saw him at the conference and sometime in the next couple weeks and just have a conversation of what that looks like. So we did get the power kill switch installed, which was like an $8,000 expenditure. But it's already saved us $300 in 1 month because the way that things were wired in here, the lights were still getting power even though you shut things off. So now it just completely kills the power in the studio. So none of the lights are on. And it was actually burning them out faster, so.
Are these our only lights? They're all fluorescent?
Yes.
We have no LEDs?
I think they're,
Would it qualify for an LED grant?
perhaps.
And is that even doable for what you do?
I think an energy efficiency grant is just certainly on the table. So, and in my conversation will be to convert all of these to LED. I think they are. That's what I was told is that they are, but
Oh, maybe they are.
so. Again, I'm not gonna be spending the money unless I have it,
Right.
so.
And the blue bonnet? It makes me worried when I see that.
Yeah.
We just redid that, so is that, what's happening there?
That is from when we had the bad roof. That's actually where the drain for the roof is, and that pipe and drain need to be replaced. My contractor knows, in fact, he was just here this week, I was talking to him about it. That is a project that will need to be done. All of these ceiling tiles will need to be removed, all of the, insulation will need to come out. So this is actually, all of this is from when we repaired the roof 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And hasn't been touched since.
Oh, okay.
So we knew it was a two-phase project. So we did all of the common areas first, and now this room and the control room are on the list. But our cameras need to be upgraded, like our stuff needs to be upgraded, so.
Tina, if you want, my husband is like a computer engineer and stuff, but he worked for a lighting company. So if you want him to come in and just look and see if like they're fluorescent or LED or whatever,
Perfect.
he could probably.
I mean, I do trust, I believe his name is John, from the lighting company that we use, so
With
Yeah.
the lighting company, do you know?
Not offhand,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, no, Mike can't do the work, but he could come in and tell you
Sure,
what.
Yeah.
So we can arrange that for next week.
sure. Any other comments on my report? Okay. I am done with my report, Emmanuel.
Okay, we'll go right into the next, agenda item, which is the financial report.
I'm going to keep it relatively short. I did run reports, balance sheet, cash flows, and a P&L. I'll send that out to the board after this meeting. The one piece I'd like to comment on is at the beginning of, so our fiscal year runs 6:30 to 6:30, right? So fiscal year just ended a few weeks ago. At the beginning in 2024, at the same time, we had 151,000 in cash sitting in the bank. We now have about 89,000 sitting in the bank. So, with the reduction in force, that we wouldn't. It's not like we only have 1 year left of funds. With the reduction in force, it would reduce our expenses. But as as mentioned, I would expect the next few months for cash to still be drained pretty heavily as we're paying out the severance packages. But I'm encouraged by the reduction in force in terms of giving us a little more bandwidth from our cash flows. And I'm very encouraged to be asked about where to put cash in order to build a rainy day fund, a rainy day contingency fund in the event of future hardships. Something that should have been in place a long time ago, and I applaud our ED for thinking ahead. Yeah, we're sitting at about 90 grand with a reduction in pressure on our cash outflows, with an expected inflow coming in the next month or two from the cable revenues that haven't been paid yet for the previous quarter. I don't have a lot of details beyond that, but I'm happy to answer any questions or concerns.
I don't have anything. Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, keep an eye out for in your email. I'm going to send that out to the board after this meeting.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you, Brian, and I should say thank you, Tina, and thank you, Brian, for both of your reports, very detailed reports. Next agenda item is any subcommittee updates. See if there are none at this current time right now, we'll move on. We'll move on to old business. Board contract and agreement, that agenda item, I know this keeps reoccurring. To be honest with you, I mean, if those of us are kind of sick and tired of seeing this and hearing me say the same thing again, which is, can't speak to this because this was actually somebody's project that was supposed to be taken on, and I really can't talk to this, and I don't want to speak for Tina, but I know I cannot speak to this. I don't know if Tina, if you have anything that you would like to add about the board contract.
Well, I think it's a good idea to maybe assign it to a different board member at this point. You know, like we had a draft of this pulled up, and I will say this, the one thing on our current strategic plan that is not getting any movement is board governance, right? And I can't do that for this group. So if the person that was working on it is not able to be here and help work on it, then I think it needs to be brought to a different board member. Whoever that is, whoever that's assigned to.
I would be happy to take on the board contract. I mean, it was more like, please show up, please try to communicate if you're not gonna be here, but we had some goals in there, and I could try to take that back. So
Okay.
it gets done, and I feel like it kind of relates to nominating committee in terms of.
Yeah, that's
if
true.
you're gonna become a member, like, here are your goals or what we strive for, so, yeah.
I'm fine with that, and
Eden, I'm fine, sorry, if you hear a baby crying in the background, I apologize, she's being very fussy. I just wanna say thank you, Eden, for willing to take that on. I mean, I think the board contract obviously overlaps all of us, but I do agree that could be something good to, when bringing on, new members to the group, that's something they understand. I'm sorry, I gotta speak fast, I gotta put myself on mute.
I guess the only question I have is, I know part of our agreement, we often talked about conflict of interest. I'm hoping that's not part of that, or can I say I would.
So we have now an approved separate conflict of interest statement,
Okay,
so
it was
that
just
doesn't.
the board agreement that needed to
Yeah.
happen. Okay, I'll work on that.
So I think the board agreement should perhaps reference that, saying, you know,
Okay.
you're agreeing to our mission statement, you're agreeing to the conflict of interest, and have them sign off on it.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. If there being no further discussion about that, again, I wanna say, Eden, thank you for taking that on. Eden, if you do, I mean, we can talk more offline if you want, but, if you're comfortable with it, maybe we can bring it up in the August, meeting. If not, I can put this back on the agenda for September. Just let me know.
no, I think I could take it up by August, we could put
Okay.
it back on.
Okay, so I'll leave it on for the August meeting then. The next, actually, if there's no other further discussion on that agenda item, we could move into the strategic plan. I mean, I know it was already discussed, but I don't know if there's any further discussion about the strategic plan at this point.
Yeah, I think we hit
Seeing
it.
everybody's face, kinda, no further comments, we'll just keep it moving then. Unless there's any other further discussion, any last minute thoughts? Speak now, forever hold your peace, as they say, so, alright. The next agenda item is the annual meeting, as discussed, September 18th, at 7 p.m. here, that will be held here at UMA, I believe, right, Tina?
Yes.
With light refreshments being served, of course. Put together a program. Obviously, we'll have some board seats, including mine, that will be up for a nomination, so stay tuned for more details. The annual meeting is actually the subcommittee that handles that, I believe is the Events and Planning Committee, which I am chair of, so I will have to call a meeting for that. So not hopefully, there will be an update by the August meeting about that.
I just want to note that at the annual meeting is normally when nominations close. So if there's anyone that's interested in running for a member seat, we have a multitude of appointed seats that are available. So if you know of anybody, I know we've had some interest towards the nominations committee of a couple people, that kind of thing. But what I want to say is, once the nominations close, UMA team members will put together the voting slate and run the votes. So, yeah. So there will be a few things. We usually do a little bio for who's running, and that's on our website, that kind of thing. So we'll need updated pictures from people. Do we know, is it Emmanuel's seat, and who else, is anyone else?
Brian is up, right?
Brian is up,
Brian.
and we know
Yeah.
Brian is stepping down, so, but Brian's is not a member seat, right?
No, I think he's appointed.
No, it was appointed.
Appointed.
I was gonna say, it's an appointed seat, I believe.
What other member, is Karen's seat up? I think we have to, I think we have to fill Karen's seat as a member,
Right.
so.
But Karen's seat is not up. Yeah, we would still have to fill that in. But Karen is a membership seat.
Yes.
Along with mine.
So Eden, that Astor, the gentleman that approached you,
Yeah.
he is an UMA member, so he
Okay.
might be somebody that would be
I'll reach
interested in
back
that.
out, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we will call, we'll need to roll out a call for nominations about mid-August for the 2 member seats. But we keep nominations open until the annual meeting.
And all voting is done electronically.
Yes.
All right, if there is no further discussion of points on this, we can now move on to the new business, on to the UMA board planner.
Yeah, I can talk to that a little bit. Again, that's another project that we might want to consider reappointing to someone on the board. It does make sense to me to have the clerk running this. The UMA planner, what this is it's an Office 365 tool that we use here at UMA. It's really been helping streamline our tasks and keeping track of what we're working on. And I thought it would really be a great tool for the board to use as well. I'm currently researching whether or not we can add outside emails to that planner, because we don't want to just send everything to the BOD email. So I'm in the process of looking to see how this best works in your world. And it's just to attend items like if we get somebody interested in the board, or if the subcommittees want to start putting together written reports or that. So it's just a one-stop shop of all the stuff you are working on as a board. So I just wanted to bring it up. I'm trying to be as helpful as possible, but I'm still researching how to get everybody connected
Right.
to that.
If it becomes a clerk's job, would someone just be able to give me a little bit of training?
Absolutely, yes. I'm not gonna throw it at you and say, figure it out, Lori.
Figure it out, but-
I'm
Yes,
not-
But
absolutely.
with the training, I'm willing to do it.
Okay.
I was just gonna say, I'm not sure exactly what software they use, but I know that Housing Family is another nonprofit board that I'm on, uses similar types of
Yeah.
communication tools, and they're definitely helpful than
Yeah.
just sending out emails.
And I know that everybody has a preference to what software they use, but we are an Office 365 environment, so I want to keep it within the same environment, because then I can assign tasks to a board member or community, you know, that kind of thing. So, and you can assign me tasks. Although, let's be a little careful with that over here, but you know.
So if I to do it, I would need Office 365.
Yeah, so you should have a login. Well, you should have a login anyways, and if you don't, we'll get you one.
Yeah, I'll need that.
Okay?
I don't know a thing about Office on this.
It should also be noted, I should have said this during the annual meeting. After the annual meeting, Lori, the clerk will have to update the Secretary of State's website. Okay. So that's the board planner. So I guess right now it's in research mode.
Okay, if there's no further discussion or comments on that, we will move on to the Boomer Accounting Policies Update.
Yeah, so I had Lori send out the current draft with the reduction in force. Our accounting policies had to be updated to reflect who is responsible for what. So I went through and updated responsibilities, and then ran it through ChatGPT for what's the word I'm looking for? Making sure it's hitting all the things it's supposed to hit. What's brain farting right now?
Comprehensive.
Not only that, but like the rules are followed. What am
Kind of reconciling, I don't know.
I guess?
Exhaustive.
Yes.
Can
I
keep
just
throwing words
well,
at you?
I did it. I did it through. I said I told ChatGPT run this through for accounting policies and procedures, like the required accounting policies and procedures. It said it's good to go. So
ChatGPT is the real boss.
I so I don't know if Brian wants to speak to this at all as treasurer. If we still
No, I have no comments on it at this time.
So in order to be adopted, it would need to have a full board vote for approval. And I don't know if you are ready to do that vote tonight or not.
I would table it until the next meeting so the board has time to review it. I have not had a chance to review the
Yeah,
documents
me
myself.
So to be clear, this is our, our accounting policies and procedures. It's what the organization is required to go through. I have to give a draft or a copy of this every year to the auditor. So there were references to the associate director and others in the document that those now have been removed. So I'm fine with tabling until the next board meeting, but I would ask that we take a vote on this sooner rather than later, so it's in place.
And just so we're aware, the document that has all the red, that is you adding,
Yeah, and she made any changes I made.
yep, and that's what you want in, that's,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's two versions. I gave you a red line
Yeah.
version so you could see what was changed.
Yep.
And then I gave you a clean version that's labeled draft.
Okay, gotcha. I didn't know if that was a previous version. Okay,
Nope.
got it. Okay.
All right, sorry, folks. As this little one, it's getting close to her bedtime, which is brings us to our very last item. Unless there are no other further discussion on the policies update, I will move on to adjournment at this point. I'd like to take any motions unless there is something else, any last minute ideas or questions that anybody has.
Maybe we should just state the next meeting is what, the third Thursday in September? Is that crazy to say before?
August.
No,
August.
Sorry. Thanksgiving a month.
Third-
Yep,
31st?
August.
The 21st.
August 21st,
Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
7 p.m. right
7
here.
p.m., same place, same time.
Got it.
All right. If there's anything else, or if there's nothing else, I'll entertain any motions right now.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Is there a second?
Yeah, Aiden second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? I know there's nobody's gonna abstain. Thank you all, everybody, for coming tonight. And Camila says good night, and we will see everybody here next Thursday, third Thursday in August. Everybody have a good evening.
Wow, 8 o'clock.
I know.
Love it.
That?
One
Yeah,
second, one second. Let's
it's good.
let's go off the air first.